From Carolla One Studios in Glendale, California, this is the Adam Carolla Show. Adam's guest today, Jeff Cesario. With Gina Grad on news, Bald Bryan on sound effects, and we'll play the Rotten Tomatoes game. And now, barbecue extraordinaire, Adam Carolla.
Yeah, get it on. Got to get it on. The choice to get it on. Mandate to get it on. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for telling a friend. We'd love that about you. Right, Gina Grad?
That's right.
And Bald Bryan.
Dude.
Well, we had our Carolla Family Drinks BBQ yesterday. It was a hit by all accounts.
Left it all on the field. Everybody did.
That's right.
Yeah, everyone came out. We had our tastings. We had our music. Dawson played. Chris played. And then, of course, the Offspring brought the whole thing home. Offspring.
Familiar with the first two bands. You're going to have to help me out on the last.
Made a little noise in the early 90s.
Okay.
Had a cult following.
Oh, yeah.
Local.
Sort of
Local
a regional
band.
success?
Regional.
Yeah, okay. I was in the Bay Area at the time, so
Yeah,
I can't
you might
help
have
you,
missed
buddy.
it.
So, couple thoughts. Had some fun with these guys. They were all hanging around in the area up front of the where we make the docks and Nate's offices and all that, kind of the lobby.
Little de facto green room.
Little de facto green room. Brought their families. Brought some drinks. Hung out. And Noodles, the lead guitar player, was sort of picking and strumming back there, going through his classical guitar back there. And, it was about 5 minutes to showtime, and I told the band, all right, up on your feet, gather around.
Time for prayer.
Take a knee.
I said, we got a festival crowd out there, and it's not an Offspring crowd. It's a festival crowd. They're here to see, they're here to see me. But,
They're here to see whiskey. They're here to see me.
Right. And
In that order.
You guys are used to playing pubs and kind of smaller venues.
Yeah.
You're not used to this kind of festival type crowd.
Bringer shows.
Right.
Bringer shows. Yeah, you got a four wall.
That's right.
So, if you look out, you're going to see a lot of people, a lot more people than you're used to seeing out there.
Don't let that throw you.
Right.
It can be a shock at first.
Look down and just sort of play within yourselves. You know what I mean? If you look out, you're going to lose your balance. You're going to freak out. You're going to play too fast. The nerves are going to kick in.
You're on the bill for a reason. Bottom the bill, but you're on the bill for a reason.
Prove yourself.
Right. Some people are going to stay around and watch you guys play. And again, you look back, you're going to see 175 people there.
Yeah.
That's a lot of humanity. So just kind of, and by the way, you don't have to look down the entire set or go full Jim Morrison, turn your back, but play within yourselves, kind of look down, get a few songs under your belt, get a little momentum, get out there, play the crowd pleasers.
Play your game.
Don't play any new stuff. Don't cover anything. Just sort of stay within your game.
Remember to have fun.
Right. And then, as you feel the juices flowing and the nerves subsiding, you can kind of look up and start mingling and playing with the crowd a little bit. So that was fun. And then we all got a hand in.
It's good advice.
And we did that. So that was funny because the band, I don't know if Dexter sets the tone, but no more laid back, kind of jovial, friendly, thinking man than Dexter Holland.
The nicest guy on the planet, and not just to, us, and I don't think I was wearing my name tag, said, oh, Gina, hi. I was shocked. But even after the show, he was just kind of trying to get a moment to himself, made the mistake of doing it outside, and all these people kind of noticed and asked for pictures, and he couldn't have been nicer.
Yeah. A lot of where's Dawson, where's Chris, him having to sort of traffic cop after the set.
Dexter gets the runoffs.
Right. Sure. Sloppy thirds.
I mean, you'll do.
Right. So they played. Now, they played, I don't know what you would call it, Gina. Bryan, were you there for the Offspring?
I missed the Offspring set, but I'm a big Offspring fan, so I know most of their songs.
Yeah, so it was like a kind of half acoustic, half plugged in.
Yeah.
I would say
satisfying.
Overall, an unplugged show, which was incredible because it got them to think outside the box. In one of their hit songs, Noodles busts out the ukulele and people went crazy.
Yeah, so he bust out for self-esteem, and I think maybe we should Max Bada, maybe we should play the record version of
comparison.
Self-Esteem first, just to see what it, to compare and contrast. Such a great riff.
I wrote her off for the 10th time today. Practiced all the things I would say. She came over, I lost my nerve. I took her back and made her dessert. I know I'm being used. It's okay.
Yeah, so you have to picture the ukulele in this. Wait, I want to hear the chorus.
With me. That's okay, 'cause I got no self-esteem.
Soaring. All right, so we'll play you the version with the ukulele.
Awesome.
I think Dexter was on the acoustic guitar most of the show, but the bass was plugged in and the drums were mic'd up. I think that
Yeah,
about
they had
does it.
and they had a percussion. He's playing like seashells and like had a chime made out of keys.
It was funny because, I'm older as everybody else is when, they were a huge, just mega star band, and you love the noise and you love how loud it was. And as I get older and more sensitive to noise, I thought this is the perfect way to see this band. A little bit acoustic, having fun, kind of like a little tongue-in-cheek and still rocking. It was perfect.
Yeah, and it was nice. Dexter brought his youngish kids, 3, 4-year-old kids, and everyone was in the wives, and everyone was hanging out and having a good time, and no pretense, no rock and roll with those guys. I mean, no rock and roll trappings.
Right.
Just good guys that are good at what they do.
Dexter may have a bone to pick with you. I don't think you know about this. So, you know how you're pretty loose-lipped with his van and what exactly it looks like and how easy it is to
Were
identify?
people taking tours of the van?
How easy it is to identify in a parking lot.
Yes.
A lot of people taking pictures with the van.
Oh, did he come out in the van?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, why not?
Yeah,
fault is
exactly.
that?
Yeah, right.
He could have taken the jet.
That's his only, beside a jet, I think that's his only mode of transportation.
Yeah.
All right, we'll see if we get the sound queued up here.
All right, you guys ready for this?
I already prefer this version.
It was awesome.
Roll around for the 10th time today. Practice all the things I would say. She came over, I lost my nerve. I took her back and made her dessert.
A lot of drunken fans at this point.
That's okay, 'cause I like the abuse.
Hey, Chris.
Fuck you, I won't do what you tell me. Fuck you, I won't do what you tell me. Fuck you, I won't do what you tell me. Fuck you, I won't do what you tell me. Motherfucker!
Well, the neighbors love that.
Yeah, he's the best.
Yeah.
We should probably bring it back around and finish the song out.
Yeah, let it kick in.
Why to admit, late at night, she knocks on my door. She keep getting look in the store. I love, say no. It's kinda hard when she's ready to go. I'm ready to, I'm not a tweet. Just a sucker with no self-esteem.
Oh, right. Let's kick in.
It's an Instagram story. So
Yeah,
we're gonna
yeah.
get-
Oh,
get the idea.
You got the.
They played all the hits. People were losing it. It was awesome.
The funny thing too was when they brought out the ukulele, Noodles was saying that it was a pre-war ukulele. His dad got it in the islands. Wow. And then at the end of the show, he smashed it on the stage. Like, I have a feeling that was not his grandfather's ukulele.
That's rock and roll.
Yeah, they actually kicked in. They covered one song. They rolled into Iron Man at some point.
They did Bach's Boré, which you're familiar with because it was a
Born
hit.
on the Bayou. Sorry,
They did Born on the Bayou too, but you're familiar with this one because it's a Jethro Tull song. This is the song he was playing on the guitar. This is
right.
And then led that right into Iron Man,
right?
Which was the greatest disparity you could ever ask for.
Yeah, it's nice. It's also nice. Like Noodles was back in the green room, for lack of a better term. And he was like sitting there, and the band was the kids, and they were laughing, and Dexter was standing around having a good time, and I was showing him some cars and everything. And then, like at some point, Noodles went, "I got to warm up," and I was like, "You don't have to warm up. No one cares." And he's like, "Nah, I got some stuff I want to do, and I want to work on it a little bit." And he sat back there with his acoustic guitar, and he was like he was doing this riff.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, yeah, the band's been huge for 25 years, and but he wants to go work on some stuff at this non-paying nothing barbecue event. And that's a good sign. Like, we should always kind of have that, look, who cares you're playing a stadium or who cares you're playing in front of 150 drunken barbecue guys for free? Like, I'd like to get out there. And also, what you don't want, if you're the Offspring, because, again, pretty easy to mail it in. But what you don't want is, like, people walking away going, how's the Offspring? But they're okay.
I bet in a bigger venue would be good.
Right. Now, just have one mode. The one mode is show up and perform.
Yes.
And knock it out of the ballpark mode. So they were great. And then you hung out with them a little bit afterward, and now it's time to clean up the beer cans.
Speaking of cleaning up the beer cans, I never appreciated ever. I've been to 1 million live events, 1 billion concerts, and not until last night did I ever really appreciate the hype man at the end of the show. Mm-hmm. Dawson pops up there, a little buzzed, and does like a sort of an encore, if you will.
A back sell.
Yeah, just like having everybody thank you and had a great time. I love the end of show hype man.
Mm-hmm. I do as well. And Dawson, remarkably skilled up on stage.
Remarkably.
With the microphone and a couple of...
I'd say he's done it before.
A couple
Surprisingly.
of pops. Yeah. Dr. Drew was there. Yeah. Mark Garagos was there.
Saw Garagos with a
name
cigar,
tag.
Cigar poking out of his pocket.
Of course.
Yeah.
Oh, Stubing.
Dr. Drew is wearing Captain Stubing's jacket from the Love Boat, which fit him like a glove.
It does fit nicely.
Yeah.
Dr. Drubing.
So, Dr. Drubing.
I saw that online.
Okay.
I stole that.
Still funny.
He looks like an orchestra conductor.
Yeah, so he showed up. Everyone was there. A good time was had by one and all.
Studs.
Me, Mark, and Drew all dressed in the exact same outfit.
Yeah, you look like a boy band.
I thought I thought about it because everyone's like, you wore the same thing. I was like, because there is no such thing as men checking to see what other men will wear in advance. That's strictly a female thing, possibly a gay thing, but I do not think it's a dude thing. I think we're all wearing the same blue shoes, jeans, and navy blue tops. Although Drew's wearing some leather shoes. Yeah. Good guys. There's nothing, I mean, I don't know if people know that Garagos and Drew go back 40 years, plus.
Pasadena history?
Pasadena, La Cañada, like prep school stuff. Like, when I say 40 years, I don't mean 40 years. I mean 50 years.
Wow.
It's nice. And it's nice that... as I always say, they're thick as thieves. They love seeing each other. They love hanging out. Sometimes people know each other a little too long. There's some baggage that accumulates.
I don't want to talk to that guy.
No, not out there. All right. We have, let's see.
It was nice to see a lot of familiar faces, especially
yeah.
in lieu of like a cruise last year or whatever, or even the barbecue last year. Like, oh, how you been for the last year plus?
A lot of cruisers, by the way.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's nice. We come here every day. We sit in an empty room. We talk into a microphone, and it's always nice when you run into this. I came here. I brought my dad. We've been listening to every show. A lot of this, which is always nice. Like, you got me through some hard times.
Yeah.
I was going through a tough time a couple of years ago with a divorce or job or whatever it is, and you guys really helped me. Yeah, it's always nice. I have a couple of other clips to play. One thing that, so me and Drew and Garagos all sort of jumped in on a quick impromptu reasonable doubt, or beyond a reasonable doubt.
At the barbecue?
20 minutes. Yeah, we just
nice.
showed up here and everyone just sort of filed into the studio and we just kind of knocked it out. But
wow. Beatles style, surrounded by fans.
On the rooftop.
Yeah, there's an interesting Newsom clip that I kind of forgot about from when I interviewed him 8 years ago that I think we can, well, I'm trying to think. Maybe we'll play that in the second break, yeah? All right. The first one, clip I want to play you guys, speaking of reasonable doubt, is at some point when we're taping it a few days back, at maybe the 40-minute mark, Mark had to jump and go to court. We grab him. He's usually got an hour, but sometimes he's got to head back into court. You'll notice that effective people like Mark Garagos and myself on occasion, and Dr. Drew says, they squeeze things in between things where you don't think there's space, They'll just go, well, we get a lunch break from 1 to 2. I'm down at the courthouse, so let's knock it out at 1. And then at some point, he gets pulled back in a few minutes early. But
I believe he interrupted his own hearing to be a guest with Bryan and I one time when we were hosting.
He made the right choice.
He did.
It doesn't, I think people look at it as this like big sort of calorie burner, but it's interesting because in Mark Garagos's mind, or in Drew's mind, and sometimes in my mind, this thing where people go, well, don't you want a break? Like, don't you want an hour for lunch or some? And in Mark Garagos's mind, that's downtime.
Yeah,
it's not. I don't feel like he feels like he's working. I think people look at work, as in the work they do. They sort of look at it as like working out. Like, you just ran on the treadmill for an hour. Don't you want a break? Get something to drink, dab your forehead, and like you can get back on it. But they don't look at it as a treadmill.
You don't
They're
understand.
not
I'm always on the treadmill.
Right, that's their
I'm
life.
running the whole time. So
They they like that.
Right.
So,
well, sorry, I gotta throw this in because we're talking about Mark. To that point, and I think this is like you would say it's probably Jimmy Kimmel mode. Sunday morning. I'm just kind of waking up and I'm looking at some news and it's a little early and it's Sunday. I get a text from Mark Garagos. I go, what is this? He had a question about the wedding and wanted to make sure he didn't miss the RSVP date. First thing on a Sunday morning. Why would that even be on his mind?
Well, the adage of if you want to get something done, give it to someone who's busy. There is no truer adage than that, because I grew up around the unbusy crew, and they would say like, oh, it's Sunday morning. We got to decompress. I just don't feel up to. As I said, my mom has 3 modes. She feels a cold coming on, has a cold, just got over a cold, and then we'll go back to the first one.
Silence.
Another one. One reason why you ain't getting driven to the airport. All right, so Mark had to jump, which left me with about 15 minutes left to kind of filibust. And I was just sitting in here going, well, I don't know what we're talking about. And then Gary brought up Mike Richards, the Jeopardy host that was the longtime producer who has to now step down because of some podcast comments he made earlier in his lifetime. And I will play you guys that 12-minute rant. Someone tweeted me and said, play it on ACS so it can get in the running for Rant of the Year.
Is that? I was talking to the judges. Is that allowed?
Yeah, no.
I don't know.
The movie only has to run in, 2 theaters to be considered for an Oscar?
Right. All right. So I'll let you guys hear that. Look, well, here's the thing. nobody shall survive under the current measuring stick that we're using for morality. Now, if we recalibrated it, as I've been suggesting for a long time, then you could survive. So there's no such thing as somebody that doesn't have an ex-girlfriend or ex-boyfriend is not going to tell some shitty story about them or some drunken tweet or some late-night sexting that got screen grabbed or a podcast where someone had a couple of drinks and started flapping their gums a little bit. That's impossible. The standard's impossible. It's not really, it's their standard. The notion that, and also context is everything, because if you're having a conversation with someone and someone is laughing and you're laughing and there's a context to it, that's fine. If you're going to read the transcript of it, it's going to sound like a hate crime, you know? And we've somehow decided that the words were now on a par with actions. Like we're getting to a point where if you go out and you throw a Molotov cocktail at a squad car or try to burn down a police precinct, or you're some Antifa guy and you want to just go punch a reporter in the face, yeah, we can kind of deal with that. But if you sent out a tweet and there was something that was anti-Semitic in it, or you called Lizzo fat, then we have no tolerance for that. So we've prioritized ourselves into a corner. We're in a bizarre place where we've decided that words or jokes are as powerful or actually more powerful than actual physical actions, which is an insane place to be. It can only be dreamt up by assholes who went to college. This is all college. This is all moving away from the tangible world into the ether of ideas. So when you have people like this country used to be filled with, farmers and carpenters and engineers and builders and, just secretaries and, people showed up somewhere, did a job.
Still is, I would argue. They're just not on Twitter.
Well, no, here's what I'm saying. You go back 100 years, 86% of Americans had some fucking job where they had to put shit together. Sure. Like you worked at a train, you worked on trains or something. You were laying track, you were doing stuff.
You go to a place and do a thing.
Go to a place and do a thing. And they weren't college educated. They were like educated on a farm.
Right.
The farm was get up at 5, slop hogs, milk cows, mend fences, fix tractors, make dinner, breakfast, go back out, slaughter something, like super nuts and bolts. Okay. Now you fast forward to it. What percentage of Americans work in a sort of mechanical putting things together realm versus I work for an advertising firm and I have ideas. You know what I mean? Like this, the world, the digital world versus the analog world. There's more and more people graduated from college. College is a place, you don't do manual labor in college. You sit around and think. You have ideas. So now we have the large group of people who went through the college system, and then they go right from there to working somewhere in Silicon Valley or the New York Times or into some sort of digital landscape. When you put people in the ether of the digital, they no longer are able to think mechanically. Mechanical people understand that punching a cop's horse at some Antifa rally is much worse than a tweet that crossed the line. But if you're in the digital world, the tweet represents just as much as the physical world because you're not in the physical world. The physical world doesn't exist to you, and you look down on the physical world. You drive around, you see those guys doing the road crew work when it's hot outside, and you go, those poor suckers. Look at those suckers. Uneducated. Suckers. Not college educated. Uneducated. I'm college educated. I have ideas. So all your fucking ideas move into the realm of the digital. In the invisible realm of the digital, a tweet is just as dangerous as a balled up fist in the face.
I would argue that those people think it's more dangerous
more
because
dangerous.
it can be
Right.
spread around the world and infect countless people, whereas that's one horse that got punched.
Right. So the guy throws the Molotov cocktail. By the way, they're never outraged at large groups to try to burn down cop precincts in Portland. You ever hear any outrage about that? No, but you send one off-color tweet and now we're fucking outraged. So they have it 100% backwards. They don't have it 73% backwards. They are fucking backwards. That's what they have. So their plan is forget about anybody who rioted in Portland and tried to burn down a police precinct or municipal judge building or whatever that is, a courthouse. Forget about that. We got to go after the guy who wants to host Jeopardy.
Yeah,
That's
federal
right.
building, I think is what you're
We
looking
got to
for.
go after federal building. We got to go after Matt Damon. We got to go after the guy who used to host The Bachelor. They're 100% wrong. Now, there is a other group that sits back and is scared of these pussies, and that's really where the problem is. There should be large swaths of people telling them to shut the fuck up, not apologizing. They're essentially kids that have gotten their way too much and they're on a fucking roll. People need to step up and pipe up. This is what I've been saying for 10 years. I yell at Dr. Drew all the time. He's come around. It's not their fault. It's your fault. Stop apologizing to them. Stop listening to them. Stop kowtowing to them. Stop bending to them. They're nothing. They barely exist. There's 10 guys. So I was screaming about on my podcast the other day. How many Latino people want to be called Latinx? 0%.
Emmy, you can pipe up here if you want.
I absolutely hate that term.
Okay. Why are we talking about Latinx? Because a handful of fucking white people told us we had to. Is it their fault? No, it is not their fault. There are fucking narcissistic pricks who do not recognize a finish line. It is not their fault. Everybody in the Latina community, Latino, Latinx, Latino, Chicano, everyone fucking pipe up and tell them to shut the fuck up. And the rest of the white people need to tell them to shut the fuck up. Because look no further than Latinx. Somebody invented this word called Latinx 19 months ago. For some reason, it's a thing, except for no Latino wants to be called Latinx, and 3/4 of the white people don't give a fuck either. So how has it got traction? Because we let them get traction. We let them do it because we're scared. Because if you said, I don't want to call anyone Latinx, oh, then you're a racist. So now shut up. And now the 5 people with the fucking bullhorn get their way. Well, what I'm saying is, people, it's not their fault. They're doing what they would do. What do you fucking think the Taliban does? They do as much as we let them do. Well, look at them. These guys are barbarians. They're beheading women. They're throwing acid in the face of schoolgirls just for reading. They're attacking. Yes, they're doing what they do. It's our job to kill them. It's our job to shut them down. They will keep doing what they keep doing. This is it. This is everything. They will tear down every statue. They will come up with a new name for Latino every 10 minutes. They will start adding letters to the LGBTQ community. They'll add 3 letters. You fuckers don't go along with it. Don't go along with it. That's what I'm saying. Stop it. It's your fault. You're letting them do it. I've been yelling about this. I put a fucking trash can over my head and yell into it for 10 fucking years. I'm not doing it. Thankfully, fucking 5 people have woken up and they're starting to knock it off. You know, when you lost Bill Maher, you're losing the mainstream, the core of your constituency. You're losing them now, but you've lost even Bill Maher at this point. Please. Stop going along with this fucking idiocy. And yes, you will be called a racist. They call black people racist who disagree with them. They call Larry Elders and Uncle Tom, Candace Owens a racist. Of course, they'll call everyone. There'll be a middle-aged fucking blue-eyed white chick calling Candace Owens a racist because she doesn't go along with their horse shit. Please, there's no end, people. Just fucking stop going along with it. Just stop it. Stop it. Tell my fucking son every 10 seconds, when you go to school, take your mask off. Make them tell you 3,000 times to put your mask on every day. Every day. Do what Mike August does. Every commercial flight, have them tell you 1,500 times before you take off to put your mask back on. Just fucking do it, because these people don't stop. There is no end game for them. Oh, do they love masks? Do they love Latinx? What do they love more, Latinx or masks? You want to know what the answer is? They don't give a fuck about either one of them. They want to tell you what to do. They want to tell you what to do. What? By the way, what happened? Where was your obsession with masks? 2 years ago, you didn't see a guy coring concrete by the side of the road and pull over and go, hey, it's a dust cloud. What about all the Latinx gardeners that are there with their fucking leaf blowers not wearing a mask in your yard? Bitch, did you care about his lungs? Oh, no. Now all of a sudden, everyone cares. Oh, we care about masks. We care about Latinx. We care about all the letters in LGBTQ. Well, we care about the refugees. We care about everything. You don't care about fucking shit. You care about telling people what to do. And they will keep going, people, and they will never stop. Is there any indication that they're willing to pump the brakes or stop when it comes to telling you what to do? No.
No.
Okay. So tell them to fuck off. That's it. That's all we can do. Fuck you. We're not doing everything you told us to do. And by the way, historically, are you right? What's correct? What do you know that we don't know? Take COVID. When have you been right? What do you know? Do you know anything? Is there some history of you being right? You were a maniac if you thought the thing escaped from the lab a year ago. Now what? You were a maniac if you were for hydroxychloroquine or any of these therapeutics. Now what? What do you know that we don't know? You don't know jack shit. Just like you don't know Latinx isn't a real fucking word. You just scared people because they think it's racist. And by the way, if you don't think it's racist, they use race to control you. And that's why they fucking infuse it into everything. They've somehow figured out a way to take climate change and race and connect it in the last 20 minutes. So there is COVID and race, everything in race, fucking a meatball sub and race. You guys have connected everything. Please, human beings, stop listening to these fucking anarchists. They're miserable. They don't have hobbies. They have nothing on their plate. They're bored as shit, and their new hobby is controlling your ass. Don't let them be successful. All right, so possible nominee for Rant of the Year. Let me tell you first about Tommy John Apollo, Tommy John's newest and most advanced men's underwear. Performance grade, dry release fabric blend, exclusive to Tommy John. Oh, man, you can't get it anywhere else. Apollo men's underwear, proven to keep you drier and up to 7 degrees cooler than regular cotton underwear. No more flopping and sticking and chafing. Soft, supportive, stretches to be the perfect fit. Available in sizes up to 4XL. Over 15 million pairs sold. Tommy John doesn't have customers. They have fanatics. Nobody here who got their Tommy Johns, and this goes for everyone here and Drew and the aforementioned Mark Harris. Once you get them, you will not go back. And like all Tommy John underwear, Apollo comes with the best pair you'll ever wear, or it's free. Guarantee, right, Dawson?
Right now, get 20% off your first order at TommyJohn.com/Adam. Go to TommyJohn.com/Adam for 20% off. TommyJohn.com/Adam. See site for details.
All right, we'll take a quick break, and we'll come back and play some Rotten Tomatoes, have some other stuff for you right after this. Well, we got the Rotten Tomatoes game. I saw Suicide Squad, so I have thoughts on that.
As did I.
As well. I'm curious. We'll compare and contrast notes.
You want to do a Bollywood on that like tomorrow or something? We can talk about it?
Yeah, okay. No, if you want to do a Bollywood on it, we can.
Spoiler alert, I liked it quite a bit.
We can do that.
Would you guys like Polka Dot Man on this show?
That'd be
very
fucking awesome.
easy.
I love David
guy.
Dustmal's.
I've known him since I was 3 years old.
Really?
Yeah, he's from Overland Park. We went to high school together. I've known him for my entire life. So
Did you
easily
recognize
done.
him? He's a character actor.
Yeah,
It
it was a
dozen things.
Great part of the movie, very interesting and innovative and creative, and so Polka Dot Man would be fun, and it's just the whole thing. We'll get into it tomorrow. We'll do that. All right, so when I told you guys I was talking to Drew and Mark Garagos, I was because Newsom's being recalled, some people are grabbing some clips of me grilling Newsom in here 8 years ago, and they've been playing little bits and clips of it. And I thought, I haven't listened to that thing in a long time. And there's the part that people grabbed and put out and tweeted. But then there's other parts to it, and I figured out that he discusses the homeless problem.
Oh.
And he discusses the homeless problem in some detail. And, of course, I'm a dick about it the whole time. But this is 8 years, I don't know if it's 8 years plus or just about 8 years old. But it's kind of interesting to have then Lieutenant Governor Gavin Newsom 8 years ago, which is, things have spiraled out of control vis-a-vis the California and Los Angeles homeless problem in the last few years. But 8 years ago, we were sort of toward the beginning of it. It was an issue. But it would have been nice 8 years ago to kind of nip it in the bud.
I had the chance.
Yeah, and this is our back and forth on it. Now, there's a couple things to listen for. One, he declares himself the sort of ambassador of the homeless problem. Like, that's his thing.
Oh,
that's his number
he's the
one.
homeless,
Okay, so we know he's going to get
Right,
yeah.
and then we get to some of the causes of the homeless problem. Here it is. Most people should not be having kids if they're working minimum wage jobs. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, well, I mean, if that's what they set their sights to do exclusively in their life, is to work minimum wage jobs, it would be very difficult. But in a free society where you don't want interference of government, they have every right to make whatever decision they feel is appropriate in their life.
They don't want interference of government, but they want free lunches after they shit out the kids.
Well,
that's the government.
Yeah, the poor kid, though, is sitting there.
Well, now they do want the government. Well, wait, I thought they didn't want the government.
What are you going to do to that poor kid? You don't want that poor kid out in the streets and sidewalks panhandling 5 years later or committing crimes. You want to take care of that poor bloke. That's not his fault or her fault. It's the parents' fault.
All right, feed them and sterilize them. I agree with you.
No, that's just for pigeons in San Francisco. You want controversy? That's controversial.
Is that what you call homeless people then?
No, that's not. Hey, by the way, that was my issue, homelessness, and my passionate efforts to deal with homeless. That's an issue that no one cares about in this country. I care deeply.
Well, listen, the thing about homeless people is they're either junkies or they're crazy or they're both. This notion of like the guy's a hardworking, God-fearing family member who lost his job and now had to take to the streets is total and utter bullshit.
But what about the picture of real homelessness? There's a poor mom with 2 kids with a husband who took off and left her, who's sitting there struggling on that minimum wage job, and all of a sudden now is out in the streets and sidewalks desperately trying to find some help, get her life back, can't get those kids into child
I think that's
care,
what happened to
can't
Jewel.
afford them. That's the tough thing.
Yeah, that's tough.
And that's a picture of family homelessness in this country.
That's a postage stamp.
No,
the real picture is bigger than the AIDS quilt, and those are crazy junkies.
Yeah, but no. So what? No, see, I will challenge you on this.
No.
What you're talking about is chronic homeless, which is the picture we have of homeless, which is a relatively small percentage.
That's the picture.
It's a relatively small percentage.
Are struggling with drug or alcohol addictions, duly diagnosed with bipolar disorder, schizophrenia, now self-medicating with drugs and alcohol and the like. They got vocational issues, physical issues, etc. And those folks should be treated as a separate category, and I don't disagree with that. But the vast majority of homeless are not in that category. They're bunked up with family and friends. There are 3 or 4 folks living in an SRO unit. I've seen it where an entire room is just a mattress and people are literally doing shifts and folks are working hard. They may be out in that street corner selling those flowers, but damn it, at least they're out there doing that, not waiting in line handing for handouts on that same corner. So they're trying to make a go of it and trying to make their family proud of them and give them a sense of dignity and self-worth. And to me, that's the American dream.
And I
want to support that.
Listen, I want to support it too, but not to the extent where it carries on into the next generation.
I get your point.
I want everybody to plan, look down the road 6 months. Yes, your husband lost his job. That's why you need to sock away some money when he's gainfully employed. Yes, they foreclosed on your home. That's why you need to have a network, a community, friends, family members, money put away.
I got it, but think about it,
Don't
Adam,
have the kids.
Half of African Americans in the state of California, roughly half of Latino families, have no access to a checking account or an ATM, things we take for granted. They don't have a check.
What's wrong with them?
And
we know this, Riff. Half, by the way, he's lying his fucking head off.
Well, a lot of those numbers were inverted throughout his entire monologue.
Some crossover.
But so he thinks the face of homelessness, I mean, the real body, like I'm saying,
The vast majority.
It's drugs and it's mental these people are mentally unstable. He says that's a small population. The large is the mother of 3 who's working full time, but at a minimum wage, and then the father leaves, and she's on the street with her 3 kids.
There's no doubt that's an element, but it's a small fraction.
But it's totally anecdotal. We live here. What do we see every day? Do we see her? Or do we see everybody else?
I never see kids. I see, and he's like, well, no, you're talking about the chronic homeless. I'm talking about the real problem, which is people sofa surfing or whatever. People say couch surfing, but you have alliteration right there. It's sofa. Yeah. Sofa surfing. It's like, I feel the same way with school to prison pipeline. There's a better way there's more alliteration left on the table there. But the point is, so what has he done? He has not identified the problem for reasons that are unknown to me. I don't know why. Why is it political suicide to just say, here's what is going on, and then attempt to do it? So he's taken the homeless problem 8 years ago. Remember, that's his issue. That's his issue. That's his thing. Nobody... and by the way, him saying like homelessness, that's my issue over the last 8 years.
I wouldn't trumpet that.
It'd be like me saying, oh, you guys talking about carpentry? I'm a carpenter. I'll tell you what, I put doors on the ceiling. What? I take the crown and put it in the base, that's my thing. It's like, boy, have you fucked this thing up 10 ways to Sunday. He takes the problem of homelessness and turns it in. He gets this little niche group, which is not what we observe. We observe crazy people flopping on the street and living in refrigerator boxes, and then turns it into something else, and then says that's what we need to focus on, and then says the group, which is 96% of homeless people, let's not worry about that group. Let's worry about the mother of 3.
That's chronic homelessness.
Yes,
that's the problem.
May we address that?
Right. All right. So we got that little blast from the past. Shall we play some Rotten Tomatoes while we're here?
Listen to that noise. It's a high falsetto voice. It can only mean one thing, and you can feel it. Dawson names are flicks, and the gang makes their picks, guessing if it's rotten or fresh. If you guess it exactly, we'll get a bonus 5. It's the Rotten Tomatoes game. You know how we do it. Give me the Rotten Tomatoes game. Now it's time to play it.
All right, so after an entire year of digital learning, campuses are finally opening back up, and kids are once again learning in the classroom. That's right, it's every kid's worst nightmare. Summer is over. It's back to school time. So all of these movies have that subject.
Ooh.
Well, I suppose the nightmare could be even worse. Your teachers could be body-snatching aliens. That's what happens in this high school horror thriller that was tailor-made for the MTV generation. The cast ranges from Josh Hartnett to Salma Hayek to Jon Stewart, and all the campy violence was orchestrated by director Robert Rodriguez. From 1998, The Faculty.
I truly enjoy this movie. I don't know if everyone else did. I really like it, yeah. It's got a great cast. So, of course, it's got all the adult stars. Jon Stewart, Salma Hayek, Robert Patrick, on and on and on. And then it's got all these kids who weren't Jordana Brewster, Usher, before they were known to anybody. Elijah Wood.
It's funny, that little window where we were going to make Jon Stewart into a leading man. It was all there. I don't think he was that into it.
Yeah.
But it was sort of like, well, here's what you do. Now you do this. And
Transition.
he was like, at the time, no one knew who Stephen... not Colbert. Stephen Carell even was. But they were like, Jon Stewart, you must star in movies. And it's just like, no doubt he could have done it. I don't think he felt like it.
Famke Janssen's in this. Like Piper Laurie's in this.
All right.
With this new console, I'm a little worried that Brian may be sneaking a peek.
I was going to say, I got to hide
I got to hide my numbers here. Creative movie, fun movie. Maybe Brian saw it at a tender age.
I've seen it since then, and it's fun and it's got the right tone. You know
Adam,
what I
are you
mean?
going to listen to any of this bullshit?
No, but I don't know. I mean, it has a good cast. It's good
Okay.
kind of thing critics would think was fun. All right, is everyone locked in?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
All right, I'm going to say Just Fresh at 63.
Yeah, I'm just above you at 68. This is a fun movie. I don't think the critics went for this.
I've been burned too many times by Brian, 39.
No.
The faculty is rotten
Thank you.
at 55%.
Okay.
All right,
For a movie
in there.
like this to get 55 is a fun movie.
And dead on because the audience said the same.
55 and 55, you rarely see that, but okay.
Next up, you can't talk about going back to school without bringing up the Rodney Dangerfield comedy Back to School. Dangerfield stars as Thornton Mellon, an uneducated, self-made millionaire who decides to sign up for college in support of his anxious son. Film also features a young Robert Downey Jr. from 1986. Back to School.
I've seen this movie 100 times.
I have seen this movie 0 times.
Really?
I've never seen it.
And Sally Kellerman. And, it's great.
Well, it's no Meet Wally Sparks. That was his seminal moment.
Good or bad?
This is going to be a tough one for me. I love this movie. Oh, and Zabka. Always the bad guy in it.
Billy,
Billy Zabka.
I have a bad taste in my mouth with Ronnie because, like what I said, he did Love Line, and I just went to his dressing room. I would always go into everyone's dressing room and just go, hi, I'm the host, have fun, say whatever you want. I was always encouraging people.
Sure.
Don't feel like me and Drew have to talk the whole time. Just chime in, whatever. Say whatever, you can do no wrong. He was just like in his silk bathrobe, naked, with his flip-flops on, like smoking weed and I just like went back there and he was like, what are you doing here? And I was like, I host a show, so... have a good time, just saying hi. And he's like, so what are you here for?
Oh, my God.
And I'm like, I'm just saying hi, have a good time. Oh, okay. Like, it was like one of those things. And then later on, he couldn't do the promos, which take 18 seconds because he said he had to get a haircut.
Okay.
He's sitting in the chair, and as soon as the show wraps, the producers run out with the cue card, and they go, just say, hey, my name's Rodney Dangerfield. Watch me tonight on MTV. And then there's another one that says, watch me tomorrow night on MTV, and maybe a third that says this week on MTV or something. So it's a promo thing. It's like, I don't got time.
That's awesome.
We're like, why? You're here. You got your makeup on. We're rolling right now. And he's like, I got to get a haircut.
And the amount of time it took us to have this exchange.
I know.
We knocked out 3 of them.
So people remember this movie as a funny movie, but they don't. This is one of those movies you see when you're 14 and you think it's the funniest movie ever.
A lot of Oingo Boingo in it.
But the adult critics don't see it the same way. You have it, God, this was funny. Like if you see there's that little puberty kind of window. It's like a kind of window between like 12 and a half and 16 where you see a comedy. You go, oh, that's so Dirty Rotten Scoundrels is like the funniest movie ever. But go back and watch it through your adult lens,
It did become a Tony Award-winning musical.
It did?
Yeah. Dirty Rotten Scoundrel's not back to school.
Oh,
I see your Schwartz is as big as mine.
There's certain movies you see in your youth that you're attached to.
All right. So this, made good box office, put Rodney on the map as sort of a leading man, guy could carry a feature kind of star. But I don't feel like the critics love him. I mean, he's a lovable underdog.
Yeah, he's a big multimillionaire, and he wants to show his son you could do anything, so he's going to go back to college and do it with him. But he's a millionaire, and he cuts corners, and son doesn't like that.
God, I don't know. I'll go. I'm somewhere between 55 and 63.
Oh, wow.
I'll just go right back to 55. The last score.
A little lower at 48.
I don't know. Maybe it's because I'm tired from the barbecue. I'm sticking with my 39 as much as I love this movie.
You're too tired to write down numbers.
Back to School is fresh at 86%.
Wow. Rodney, I'm sorry.
Oh, my God. And the people have it at 68. Now, since when does a screwball comedy like this? I think this touched a nerve with the critics who felt like nerds in college. If you're a film critic, you were not the belle of the ball in college.
That is what this movie's about.
Coming back and putting those jock bullies in their place. I think it's definitely struck a chord with the critics.
I've never been happier to be wrong.
All right, here we go.
Next up, we got a rom-com about a high school hotshot who has 6 weeks to gain the trust of a nerdy outcast and help her become the next prom queen.
Yes!
Luckily for all of us, that nerd is played by a smoking hot Rachel Lee Cook at the height of her powers. While it's about to be remade for Netflix with a gender swap cleverly called He's All That.
Right.
The original co-stars Freddie Prinze Jr., Paul Walker, and Matthew Lillard. From 1999... She's All That.
I thought it was going to be
another one of your everyone gets a shot at the apple. Everyone gets a bite at the apple. It's like, all right, well, let's see if this sticks.
Thought it was going to be Can't Buy Me Love.
All right, I have no idea.
Oh, God, this was,
I didn't see it.
Surprisingly good.
Really?
Me and Jimmy were in one of these Freddie Prinze Jr. movies from the 90s. Yeah, when they were doing this whole rom-com thing. They did a whole Man Show dream sequence or something.
Oh.
Man Show was weird. It was, it's a cable show, but it was like fairly ubiquitous. Like people, knew what the reference was.
It's called Down to You.
Down to You. Was that Freddie Prinze Jr. after this?
Yeah, I think Down to You is 2000.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
And this is fitting. Isn't he married to Sarah Michelle Gellar? When they both kind of weren't they both at the height of their powers at the same time?
I couldn't tell you.
I think they're married.
I think so. All right. So probably not fresh, but, likable. I don't know. Likable and what could it be? You guys in?
Oh, yeah.
Gina, you don't have to write down a new number.
All right. I'm going to say 39.
I think Gina might have said 39, too.
I indeed did.
I went a little lower, 31. I think the critics destroyed this.
Sticking with my trusty 39.
It's worked out so far.
Yeah.
She's All That is rotten.
What?
At 40.
Oh, well, finally, I'll take it.
I needed that.
All right. I think I'm in the catbird seat here.
In our next film, Robin Williams plays.
We have a clip of
Freddie
and the Man Show. He's having a dream.
It's what I wanted. Because
Watching a commercial.
I've already got smell-o-vision.
He's watching TV up
Clicking
there.
channels.
Doing a send-up of like a Mexican soap. They used to do a lot of those.
Te quiero.
Is there Julia Stiles?
Yeah. Selma Blair.
Oh,
Welcome
Man
back
Show.
to the Man Show. Tonight's topic, men who wear the skirts in their relationship.
Let me introduce you to our guest, Al Connolly.
We didn't film it on the
can't
set.
even get
the
sex
Man
from his
Show.
own girlfriend. Pathetic.
You're still in college, right?
Yeah.
It's only going out for a year?
No, for a while. It's not every night.
What do you plan to do with your life? What are you studying there in college?
Well, I'm studying liberal arts, but I want to be a chef.
I see. So you're bi, but you eventually want to go gay. Very ambitious.
Man Show
What kind of
cameraman.
chef do you want to be?
French cuisine.
French cuisine.
Cigar smoking.
Cuisine. First of all, it's food, all right? That's your problem right there. You're not much of a guy, Al, I gotta say.
I'm trying to respect her.
Al, by the way, can I call you Alice?
Some acting
women
chops being
respect.
displayed there.
Not being respected. That's what they respect, right, Jimmy?
Let's go to the audience, see if they have any questions for Al.
All right.
You.
Seen enough.
Hey, Al.
Yeah. The
Quite a scene.
Quite a scene, yeah. I remember. Had no idea what we were doing when we filmed that. I just should have showed up. But it's funny that Jimmy's making fun of him for wanting to be into cuisine and food.
Jimmy's ultimate foodie.
He's the biggest foodie on the planet now. All right. Sorry. We going into our fourth offering?
Yes, in our next film, Robin Williams plays a young boy with a rapid aging ailment that makes him appear to be a 40-year-old man, even though he's only 10. After being homeschooled the first part of his life, the emotional Jack begins a new life starting 5th grade at a public school for the very first time. The film directed by Francis Ford Coppola.
Whoa.
Co-stars Diane Lane, Jennifer Lopez, Fran Drescher, and Bill Cosby. From 1996, Jack.
Directed by Francis Ford Coppola?
This was a big movie. Robin Williams was one of the biggest stars in the world, maybe the biggest comedy star, maybe after Jim Carrey. But he was a huge star when this movie came out.
Thanks, Brian.
No, I'm trying to give you context.
Yeah. I don't think I saw it.
No, definitely didn't see it.
Brian?
I saw it.
Coppola. Now, the Coppola part makes me nervous because this would be a, mid-30s type offering, but Coppola could bring it up to, and Robin Williams as well could bring it up into a light 60s situation. Coppola's a great director, and you got Robin Williams, a great performer. Like, how bad could it be?
Yes, Brian, how bad could it be?
I guess I'll find out.
On the other hand, are they punishing Coppola for doing this?
Sometimes the expectations.
Who is this for? I mean, this isn't a kid's movie, is it? Do you bring your kids to this?
That's part of the problem.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly. This is not for kids.
Okay.
Robin Williams. Okay. Okay, everyone locked in?
Yep.
All right, I got 46%.
Yeah, this movie's awful. I got 35%.
39, baby.
Oh, Jesus.
Jack is rotten at 17%.
I knew I went too high on that one.
Were you 46?
46, way off. People had it at 49.
This movie's a disaster.
Yeah.
Finally, we feature this comedy about 3 30-something dudes who move into a house near a college campus.
Yes.
Naturally, they start their own fraternity, then turn the place into a wild party pad, much to the dismay of the school's dean. Directed and co-written by Todd Phillips, the film stars Luke Wilson, Vince Vaughn, Will Ferrell, and recent podcast guest Jeremy Piven. From 2003, Old School.
Speaker City.
All right, so people like this movie.
Fucking love this movie.
Yeah, it's a fun movie.
Truly one of my favorite comedies.
So, the critics like this kind of stuff. It can't be, it's got to be past 75, right? But
Blue, you're my boy!
The real question is, are we at 91?
Right.
The problem with the critics is just the big comedies. They just kind of turn their nose up at them. They'll go, oh, it's good, but it's not great.
It's kind of body, guy-oriented, there's the boobs and everything. It's a certain kind of comedy.
But also, making people laugh for 100 minutes consistently is a pretty tall order. And I feel like the critics should embrace that a little bit more. All right.
Ellen Pompeo's in this. Elisha Cuthbert, she's the young ingenue.
All right. All right. I think I may be hanging on to a small lead. I'm going to just kind of hang out in what I think the middle is, and that would be 80.
Ooh.
Oh, went just slightly higher at 82.
I broke my streak and went with 81.
Old School is fresh at 60%.
Oh, see, this is...
That's
people have it at 86. This is just snobbery on behalf of the critics, right?
It's a fun movie. It's a funny movie. Yeah.
Yeah. What's your
everything?
What you bought a ticket.
Yes.
You knew what you were
Yes.
getting, right? Bunch of guys being funny, gags and whatnot. Like, what is this? And I always piss me off. Where it's like, the movie had some laughs, that's for sure. But
well, there you go.
But what? It's a comedy.
Yeah.
Yes. All right.
All right. If you've been following along with the game, you really have an idea of who took this one home. But I got to say congratulations, Gina Grad. You made the podium.
Thank you.
With your score of 107.
Oofa.
Placing you firmly in either second or third place.
Oh, boy.
Couldn't you say
We'll
third
find
one?
out. Bald Brian,
I don't think I finished second.
your score of 100.
Oh. Really?
100 even.
Whoa.
Just edges out Gina Grad,
game.
but you were just on the wrong side of the ace man the entire game. For the win, Adam Carolla with a score of 89.
Oh, boy.
Oh, boy. Nobody has anything to be proud of.
No winners except for me in that group.
It's the Rotten Tomatoes game. You know how we do it.
All right, Jeff Cesario is going to come in. We'll do some Chet Waterhouse as well. First, I'll tell you about Candid. There are specialists for everything, mechanics and roofers and plumbers. And what about those uneven, crooked teeth, huh? You want them fixed by an orthodontist, but you don't want to spend that kind of money. Candid, invisible, comfortable, and removable aligners. Poorly reviewed or insanely priced clear aligner companies use general dentist. Candid only works with orthodontists. So these people, they only work with people that are specialists, the same experts in tooth movement, a licensed orthodontist, and they create and prescribe your plan. And start to finish, they'll monitor you remotely. Book an appointment at a Candid studio near you, or do it from the comfort and convenience of your home. Average treatment is just 6 months, costs thousands less than traditional braces, and includes free teeth whitening. It's Candid, right, Dawson?
Candid can help you get the straighter, brighter smile you've always wanted. Right now, you can save $75 on your Candid starter kit when you get started from home. Or you can book an appointment at Candid Studio near you today. Go to candidco.com/Adam and use code Adam. That's candidco.com/Adam, code Adam. Take advantage of this limited time offer to save $75 on your starter kit. candidco.com/Adam, code Adam.
Jeff Cesario's waiting in the wings. He'll be in person. We'll do some Chet Waterhouse. We'll do all that right after this. It's in the studio, the stand-up album, What Was I Thinking, is available on Pandora, Spotify, and anywhere else you get music. And Play With Pain with Chet Waterhouse, who we'll be hearing from in a couple of few as well. Good to see you, Jeff.
Good to be here. I like the new desk. It's very sensual. It's all curves and shiny and sweaty. I like it.
Thank you. Oh, you're talking about the table.
I'm always talking about you.
Pull your mic. Oops,
Oh,
sorry.
God, Adam, please.
Wow, there's some sort of automatic. Listen, let's at least start with a couple of drinks.
I pushed the mic into Jeff's face. What's going on, Jeff? You touring? You playing shows? You have dates up?
I pushed a couple of dates because of everything that's going on, and then I'm
Pushed a
working
couple of haircuts too.
Yeah, I did.
It is shoulder length.
I am going full Dan Fogelberg.
It's working. It's working.
I don't know what to do now. I was telling Max Zapata, I'm like caught between am I going to do something cool or am I just an old douchebag with a ponytail? So I haven't ponytailed it up yet, but we'll see. We'll see what I'm going to do.
Women always say, "Oh, what I wouldn't give for those curls."
Yeah, well. They got another thing coming. Not my women, put it that way. Not my household. They're wondering what I'm going to do. So I'm trying to find like a good guy who knows how to try something that might leave it a little longer on the top and shave a little bit of the back, but not mullet
You're
style.
too late in the game for these kinds of decisions.
Yeah.
That ship has sailed. You're not
go
going
back.
out on a Saturday night, picking up some trash at the bar. Just get out the clipper and go to town. See,
you hang out. You hung out.
There's an interesting thing. If you have hair that sort of grows and falls down, like just gets longer, then you get a choice between wearing your hair short or long. And there's arguments. Sometimes you see guys and their hair's gotten longer. You go, oh, it looks good. Your hair's longer. When you have my hair just grows out.
Yeah.
So you have to trim it. You have to trim it like I can't think of the animal where they're like a dog or where their nails just keep growing and you have to trim it back.
Rabbit's teeth never stop growing.
Rabbit's teeth, like I got to go gnaw on a piece of emery board or something. That's rodents do that. That's why they gnaw on everything. But I must do something, and that's the thing. So I'm compelled. I can never just go, oh, I'm just going to let my hair go for a year because it would be insane. It would just keep growing out. It would look insane.
It would start affecting your health.
Yes, and the health of others.
Yeah.
So I'm compelled to get my hair cut. But if you're Cesario, the hair just keeps going down.
Yeah, but it's a weird sort of cross between a wave and a curl, and it never quite...
Let's see the whole thing.
Yeah, take that hat off. Don't be shy. Look at that mane.
Yes.
Who is this guy?
Man, oh man.
So bumped a few dates.
Yeah. This would be some sort of low rent romance novel? Would this be some sort of blue collar?
Less than the dime store.
Yeah, Rust Belt romance novel. I'd be the cover of.
Well, Chet Waterhouse reminded me that we'd been sitting on this clip. It was another top 10 from Sportscenter. I don't know who found it. Did Kalen find it?
Yeah,
Chris?
this is from Monday night.
My, the SportsCenter top 10 has suffered like the Oscars have suffered in that they've gone a little woke, And so it started with soccer highlights. Again, top 10 sports were always guys going over the middle and getting lit up by the free safety. There were home runs that went out of the ballpark. There was the occasional fan who dropped his toddler but held onto his beer and then free-handed the foul ball. Like that's
Truly
all it
great
was.
transcendent play.
But it wasn't like fair to Midland soccer goals, And there was no room on the top 10 for the WNBA and a kind of breakaway underhanded layup that they used the backboard with or especially girls softball, even Little League. It was unless something spectacular happened in that. Now they're all inclusive, so you couldn't just show a top 10 with just a bunch of dudes lighting each other up. Someone would go, well, we got a little soccer in there, a little women's soccer in there. How about the girls softball? Like who's being... Same with the Oscars. Like, we need everyone represented, but sometimes the stuff represented isn't as good as the stuff we're used to. Anyway, top 10 a couple of days ago on SportsCenter, another lackluster softball or Little League. Was it Little League? What was it?
Find out.
I think it's softball.
Softball catch.
Art and Bill back with you. It's time for your top plays from Monday. Number 10, Little League Softball World Series.
Little League
New Jersey,
Softball.
Virginia. Aislinn Bossler lines it to center, and
Catches
Kira Perini
All right,
makes
it's a basket catch. Show it.
The
It's a
sliding
basket catch. Nobody
A great way
needed to
to
go
start
down.
top
She
10.
went down too far. She could,
Center feet.
all right. If I was in center field for that game, I wouldn't have spilled my beer. For that catch. Now look, I'm saying it's an okay catch. You slid. You didn't have to slide because it hit you sort of in the waist. But fine, you could just underhanded it. Whatever.
That would have been thigh high if she kept.
Yes, it is not top 10. That is only there because of affirmative action. We've polluted the top 10 by going. We need representation.
I'll take the devil's advocate point of view.
What?
What's number 9 through 5? I mean, are they just? Did that really? Maybe that snuck in at number 10.
No.
Slow week.
Because they have
slow week. Exactly.
They have like windmill dunks from the summer league and guys.
If she pops up and tosses somebody out at first on a DP, then you got something.
Guys throwing wheel kicks in the UFC and knocking the guy out with a wheel kick. Like it's not. Or okay, then don't have a top 10.
I have a new answer.
Or make it 9.
They should have a totally separate category called "Good for You." And that be in your top 10 good for you.
Sounds way insulting.
Yeah, that was good.
Like they have local Emmys and daytime Emmys. Like,
just leave it off. Don't call it good for you.
Oh, okay. No good.
It might be.
That's not going to focus group well.
I like the phrase "fair to middling soccer goal" because that's the best. You sit there and watch 90 minutes of soccer, and you leave. It's 1-0, and you go, "Yeah, the goal wasn't even good."
Yeah. There was one highlight. It was okay.
Once in a while, the guy leaves his feet and does the bicycle kick where he's like inverted and stuff, and you go, "That's
cool.
That's a goal." We also had something I thought we'd share with Jeff, which is we've been sitting on for a little while, which is Bill Maher. God bless Bill Maher. He's like done with all the woke shit. He's done with all the cancel culture. He's a progressive guy, but he's old school. Like he's not down with the cause, and he's. And by the way. Let me explain my relationship with Bill Maher. So Bill Maher, in the last 10 minutes, started saying stuff that sort of went against his party line, so to speak. It's like, what's up with cancel culture, or whatever the political correctness or whatever it is. And then everyone says, did you hear what Bill Maher said about? And it's like, yes, because I fucking said the exact same thing 6 years earlier. Like when you hear him complaining about Matt Damon and cancel culture, I've been talking about this shit for a long time, specifically Matt Damon, and he'll reference one of the things I complained about like 5 or 6 years ago. But we just thought share a clip of Bill and Matt Damon, because Matt Damon's he's a perfect example of the time we're in, which is Matt Damon, by all accounts, and I'm here to tell you, is the most decent guy in the world, family-oriented, and charitable. He's the least of our problems. There's nobody should have an issue with Matt. All the guy does is pay tons of taxes, creates millions in jobs, and takes care of his family, and then, on the side has some things about cleaning up water in Africa. What do we need? What do we need from Matt Damon? If there's anybody we didn't need to worry about, it's Matt Damon.
And
right?
you know what the headline again and again is? Matt Damon stepped in it again.
Right, except for he didn't step in it last time. Sure. You guys took the plate of poop and put it next to his slippers, next to his bed. No, he woke up, got out of bed, he was feeling for his slippers and stepped in it, but it was you placing it there. All right, anyway, I think Bill summarizes it pretty nicely.
And finally, new rule, someone has to tell me, why is this guy always in the doghouse with the online hall monitors of righteousness? It is a phenomenon that truly fascinates me, that every couple years, Matt Damon, one of the most likable guys in Hollywood with impeccable liberal credentials, is again flailing around in cancel culture quicksand. It happened again this month when Damon revealed that he used to use a gay slur. I won't say the word, but it's the one your teenage son greets his friends with when they meet up at Chipotle. It's not always meant as a slur, but it's wrong, yes, of course. And Damon owned up, saying that while coming of age in Boston in the 70s and 80s, that word was thrown around without any thought put into it. And now he's put some thought into it, and he's going to stop using it. One might say he became woke. Okay, he was late to the party, to which we could say, welcome, glad you could make it. Or we could say, you came later than I did, die. There are too many people in this country who are motivated not by what they really believe, but by what will get Twitter to react to them with likes and retweets. That's called bad faith. It's why every couple of years I'm reading headlines like, USA Today, I wish I could cancel Matt Damon. Washington Post, Matt Damon has more Damon-splaining to do. Daily Beast, shut up, Matt Damon. Vox, Matt Damon isn't a terrible person, he's just ignorant. Really? That bad, is he? We're talking about Matt Damon? I don't know, he's got a clean water charity and delivers food to Haiti. What have you done, Vox headline writer? And yet he is always getting pulled over by the woke police for something. He's got a woke rap sheet as long as your arm. On the reboot of the Project Greenlight series, he was booked on obstruction of social justice for maintaining that a director should be chosen on merit first. But merit first is not synonymous with racism. Thinking that it is, that's kind of racist. 2017, in the early days of the Me Too movement, Damon was locked up in Wokatraz on a charge of aggravated mansplaining during a reckoning and was sentenced to not less than 1 year of having to shut the fuck up. See, what happened was during an interview where Damon called the Me Too movement wonderful and a watershed moment, he added that sexual misconduct involved a spectrum of behavior and that there was a difference between patting someone on the butt and rape. True.
This is what I was yelling
unforgivable. Even though the legal system has always differentiated degrees for crimes, even murder. Oh, Matt, always getting in trouble for saying perfectly reasonable things.
Yeah.
Crystal.
Oh, is that? No, there's more though, man.
Okay. No.
I like it.
I'm 7.5 minutes, so.
I'm enjoying it.
I love the line, he came late to the party. You could say welcome, but you say you came later than I did, die. That's a great line.
No, I know. There's a little more, and it gets pretty good at the end, too. But yes, the Matt Damon thing was again, he was like, he said, let's not get Weinstein conflated with what Al Franken did. But I kind of travel through life, and I have these little moments where I just sort of stop, and I go. So I have a million conversations all day, every day with all kinds of different people and all kinds of different opinions, and I usually just sort of keep walking, but every once in a while, just for some reason, I just stop. And that thing happened, I don't know, it's been 6 years now, something. I was talking to a woman about it. And I was saying, Matt Damon, it's perfectly obvious what he's saying. Why is he in trouble? There's a difference between what Weinstein was doing and what Al Franken was doing. I mean, how much? And she was like, Matt Damon should just shut up. And I was like, what? He should shut up for stating obvious? He just stopped talking.
It's not his time to speak.
Just stop talking. Yeah. And I'm like, why? Why? He's saying obvious. No, just, and I remember stopping and went, oh, we've lost it. Because she wasn't an outlier. This is what a large group of people think. Just shut up. And it's like, I remember having a little jump the shark moment. I was like, oh, this is bad. This is like 6 years ago. Of course, it's gotten worse. But I stopped and I was like, she's just yelling he should shut up. I'm like, well, first off, can't people get interviewed and they give their opinions on things? Don't we? And by the way, good luck getting Matt Damon to give his opinion on things. He waits 2 years in between giving his opinions, and then he crafts them in this way where it's like, I'm all for the movement. Yes. I have young daughters. I taught them this. That being said, I feel like, oh, fuck you. Now it's on.
Well, you can stop at, I have young daughters. They're jumping on you for that now. Why do you need to have your own daughters before you think about,
how do you know they're your daughters?
That's a good point, too. All right, we'll play a little more just because it's...
But you're also a little bit upset, though, because you got kind of... you took blowback, and Bill will probably take less blowback. You were 6 years ahead of the
Well, now his fucking audience is all clapping.
Yeah,
the same fucking audience members that were all down with this shit 5 years ago, now they're in the audience going, oh, yeah, no. That's
you were the Texas Tech Mike Leach who came up with the whole West Coast offense, but kind of
now you sound like Gina.
That's what I was gonna say.
Off the air, she says.
So now Cliff Kingsbury gets all the glory.
Yeah. Yes, I don't. First off, things that are patently obvious, we should not retreat from. If you're saying Weinstein and Al Franken are not the same guy, stick to your guns on that one. We could have done it. Anyway, we'll play a little more.
And now...
But pause for a second. It is true that Matt Damon thing with the Al Franken thing, that thing, I don't know when it was, Max Vaz. It's got to be 5.5, 6 years ago. I didn't hear anything out of Bill Maher 6 years ago with that. He could have, we could have all collectively kind of rose up and tried to nip this one in the bud, but everyone was kind of worried about their standing in society, so we just kind of let Matt Damon dangle out there. Now it's hit a saturation point, and we're stepping up about it. Sorry, go ahead.
That was in December of 2017. Matt Damon said that Al Franken and Harvey Weinstein, quote, don't belong in the same category.
Oh, okay. So it's only been 4 years. All right.
And now he's done it again by breaking Liam's law. Yes, that's the law that refers to the time a few years back when actor Liam Neeson recounted a story of personal growth involving racist thoughts he had as a young man, but then realizing the error of his ways, expunging the racist element from his anger. But of course, in so doing, he committed the cardinal sin of admitting he was not born perfect and did not emerge from the womb completely enlightened like Buddha. And now Matt's done it with his gay slur admission, committed the crime of not always being the person you would become. I'm so tired of bad faith arguments, and it's all we do now on both sides of our divide. 2 weeks ago, Nancy Pelosi called Republican House Leader Kevin McCarthy a moron. Oh, that's not the bad faith part of the story. That's the true part. But a few days later, McCarthy was speaking to a group of Republicans and said, jokingly, but he is Kevin McCarthy, he said that if Republicans took the House in 2022, quote, I want you to watch Nancy Pelosi hand me that gavel. It will be hard not to hit her with it. Pelosi's office called it a threat of violence. Hakeem Jeffries said violence against women is no laughing matter. And Eric Swalwell said McCarthy was a would-be assailant who must resign. Shut up. Shut the fuck up.
All right. That shut the fuck up. We could have solved this years ago if people just went, oh, get the fuck out of here with that shit. That's like, this is a serious situation. No, you're right. No, I agree. We could have done some nipping in the bud. This is maybe the theme of this time we're in, like homelessness. We could have done some nipping in the bud. Super woke cancel culture. Like we could have done some nipping in the bud and kind of got after this early, like, you know, a filling before it became a root canal. Now we're in full root canal mode.
You don't have to define intent if you can majority agree on intent. If most people go, even I looked at that and I went, well, I don't think McCarthy was trying to do anything.
Well, here's how you know.
I think he's just a goofbag who can't speak in public very well.
Well, he's making a joke. You know, she called him an asshole and he made a joke about
to come back at her.
But if you are going to go full El Kabong on the Speaker of the House, you don't say it into a microphone.
It's the last thing you say.
Yeah, you think Jeff Galooly was tweeting out about hobbling Kerrigan with a bat? Like, my whole thing, the argument, a lot of this stuff is, if in fact you're serious and it's and there's intent there, you don't say it. You only say it out loud as a joke. If you're planning on hitting her with a mallet, then you don't say it.
Right.
So, we're in a weird time. Yeah.
I think that's a good defense. I think Garagos should use what you just said.
Yeah.
He wouldn't say it into a mic if he was serious.
Well, 9 out of 10 things they're accusing people of, oh, that was a threat, or that he meant, or that whatever. It's like, real people that commit crimes do not announce in front of large groups of people into hot mics what their plan is.
Well, but they do now. I mean, kids are taking it to social media and saying, all kinds of stuff about how I'm going to shoot up a school or how I'm going to do this or that.
I mean,
don't get that job.
Fucked up teenagers, but I'm not. I'm talking about members of Congress and the like.
Fucked up members of Congress.
Fucked up members of Congress. All right, shall we do some Chet Waterhouse?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's lighten the load a little bit, for God's sakes. Man, oh man, you people die.
The sports with Chet Waterhouse.
Brother, hello again, everybody. Time for the Waterhouse Update, brought to you by Chinchilla, the ice-cold shaving cream. America's pastime. No, not applying to be Britney Spears' conservator. Baseball. Dodgers hotter than avocado toast at a Silver Lake tapas stand. Mets stumbling so badly they were mistaken for OnlyFans execs. The Brewers, like a hurricane with a pansy-ass French name, they've got something to prove. Cubs are so bad, fans are actually saying, hey, let's try a Bears game. And finally, I don't want to say J-Lo and Ben Affleck, they have leveled off, but he's been hired as a baseball analyst by Fox. That wrap-up sponsored by Zigzag Zit Cream. Your zits will never see it coming. NFL preseason. Packers Jordan Love taking all the snaps, while Aaron Rodgers DM Sting for tantric sex tips. Tom Brady stopped at a Tesla dealership to have his wiring repacked. And Bears rookie quarterback Justin Fields harder to catch than a flight out of Afghanistan. That item sponsored by Kleptiva, the medication that curbs your appetite to steal. Boxing, Yordenis Ugas beat Manny Pacquiao by one consonant. Pacquiao will now run from the president of the Philippines. Oh, wait, check that. That's run for the president of the Philippines. NASCAR! Prior to the Southern 500, the Darlington Raceway repaved turn number 2. The guy holding the slowdown sign, whoa, he caught an earful. And finally, this week in sports history, the date 1957, the place Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. This is true. Phillies' Richie Ashburn hits fan Alice Roth twice with foul balls. The first one breaks her nose, and true, the second one hits her while she's on the stretcher. Philly fans booed Alice for not dying fast enough. This Waterhouse Update sponsored by Obfuscate. Great skateboard park. Unclear where it is. If you want more of me this weekend, I'll be in Burnt Lagoon, Missouri, calling the over 65 Lumberjack games for the Defibrillator Network. This is Chet Waterhouse reminding you to play with pain.
Chet Waterhouse. Sports.
The first ever Chet without a cap.
Oh, yeah.
Capless Chet. Unbelievable as usual. You know how much I enjoy Chet Waterhouse. All right, well, we got the news coming up. First, I'll tell you about Scribd. Scribd, with so much content out there, you might spend as much time looking for your next book as reading it. Scribd, it's instant access to millions of ebooks, audiobooks, magazines, and more, plus thoughtfully curated editors' picks and smart recommendations based on what you've read. So it starts learning your patterns, all for just $9.99 a month. Streaming changed everything, so we used to flip TV channels hoping for something interesting. Now we pick from thousands of great options. Scribd does it for books. Wired and Forbes called it Netflix for books. So if you love audiobooks like I do, you're going to love Scribd. And all my books are available there as well. It is Scribd, right, Dawson?
Right now, Scribd is offering our listeners a free 60-day trial. Go to try.scribd.com/Adam for your free trial. That's try.scribd.com/Adam to get 60 days of Scribd for free.
All right, quick break. Come back with the news and the gang right after this.